Yes, it's me.
Money in the way for what they got to say. I throw it up, it's falling down, it's definitely in the way.
All right, welcome back, guys. Another episode of Chart Talk with Shake and myself. We'll be going over market outlook, member ideas, good trade, bad trade, as well as top idea of the week. Shake, if you want to get started with the market outlook.
Absolutely. And in that part, you're supposed to be like, hey, give us a little thumbs up.
Well, you did.
Right now, it's a great trading environment, great swing trading environment. I mentioned last week it was time to expand the time frames, and we've just been getting blessed with price action the past week or so. Very healthy market, very healthy uptrend. And today we saw the market gap down and got bought up. Bull markets are characterized with gap downs that get bought up. Bear markets get characterized gap ups that sell off. So right now it's just a healthy environment. I'm doing my best to hold some size in my best swings and just expanding my time frame and only focusing on my favorite ideas and really seeing them through. That's what's been really working for me these past 2-3 weeks while it's been a good trading environment. How about you? What do you got over there?
All right, I mean, I think you hit all the bullet points. I think the main thing was the gap down getting bought up. That's the major.
Very bullish, yeah.
So with that, let's jump into the member ideas. We got Ashish is looking at Coop. Looking at Coop through 135.
So yeah, I like this Coop spot. I like how it's holding the support, this 125 level, that macro support. I don't love how it gapped down on earnings, but I mean, if you factor in where chart location it is at this massive support level, then you can make a better case for buying it in this area. So I don't mind this trade at all because the upside is so great while keeping the downside really cheap. So yeah, that one makes a lot of sense to me.
That's crazy to think back when we were buying Coop at 30.
Yeah, nuts, absolutely
and like
nuts.
6, like just nutty. He had one other one. He had this Silk through, I believe, 36.
Yeah, they had earnings like 3 or 4 days ago, I believe. This one looks good if it can get through. I know he wanted like 35, 50, 36, but I think this one really needs to get that trade confirmation through those recent highs at 36, 66. I want to see an explosive move really through that 36.50 area. That's what I really want to see in this name. Don't want to be too early because it hasn't proved itself yet. It's still kind of bottom right, but being a recent IPO makes it a little more attractive.
Next up, we got Joe sitting on this VRRM. A little bit of a cheaper name, but
oh yeah, you go.
No. He like mentioned, he's like, I know it's a cheap name, but just want to hear you guys.
I'm glad he brought this up. I forgot about this one. We talked about this one in the chat last week. This name looks so explosive. I love the huge volume that's been coming into it as it's trying to break these all-time highs. That just signals to me that, if it wants to break out, it could be a potentially massive breakout. And this name, it's only a $15 name, but on its big days, it'll move $2, which is like, 14% or whatever. So I think this one's got a lot of potential to the upside if it can have a high value break of that 15.30 area. I like that one. That one's okay.
And like one of the things is like with these cheap names, we tend to avoid them because the risk, relative to the price of the stock. But in a name like this, where you're only risking like 50 cents, it's not that bad.
Right.
Where it's you have some cheaper names where you have to risk like $1 or $2, and it's like it's 20% of risk. It's like that's just unrealistic. But in this type of setup, it's like the risk is a little bit tighter. So definitely good job for Joe for bringing this one up. Next one we got Shabbat is looking at ABT.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I'm looking at this one too. I like it through that 84.50 area. I like the moving average consolidation. I like how it tried to break down earlier in the quarter, or I guess last quarter, end of September, early October, and that 200-day moving average just proved way too strong. So I believe it can get through this resistance level at 84, 85 area. This one should make a run to highs.
And then he had one other one, which is the CVX.
And I like this one a lot better than the ABT. I think this one's got a lot more upside. We've seen so much money rotating to these oil names and these energy names lately. So, and the fact that CVX made such an explosive move on earnings day, I think through 122 looks very good.
Yeah, especially even like the the energy sector as a whole, like out of all the major sectors this year, energy has lagged the most. It's close to almost being like down for the year. So this is like a sector kind of going into 2020 where it's been left behind this year. It's eventually kind of picks up, and it's the ones where you kind of get, a lot of follow through when versus buying like a sector like tech that's up 30%. It's hard to expect that.
Right. For you on a more macro front, it's like the 2019 losers become the 2020 winners and vice versa.
Yeah, that was like last year, like REITs were the worst sectors of the year, and utilities, they were the best this year.
Yeah.
So kind of following the same premise. Let's see. Next, we got David's looking at the CDNS. Through 68.
Through 68. Yeah. I mean, it looks good. I hate the action that it did on earnings day. I guess that's October 22nd. I'm guessing that is. But I do like the flag, and that 68, 68, 25. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Holding all these moving averages. Nothing but healthy since that, disastrous earnings day. But through that, if we see volume expand through that 68.25 area, then no reason to not buy this one.
Yeah, this is one that like almost reminds me of like AMD through 29, where it's like if you do buy this 68, it's like if you're gonna buy it, it's like you have to be looking to at least sell like 76. Like you want to just buy this for that retest. I wouldn't really want to be buying this to like make $1 or $2. It's like if you're kind of buying when it's not that perfect, you want to, when it does work, you want to get the most out of it. So hopefully, David, if he does take it, he can try to hold this one a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, we got Alex Smith. He's looking at this SNPS through, I believe, 140.
Yeah, so I was going to highlight this one as one of my top ideas. These are like my favorite setups where it's a strong name, where it has a really nice like sideways tight base, really tight consolidation. All the moving averages are really consolidated, and we're getting it at where support kind of meets resistance. It's kind of an inflection point, but there's so many bullish factors, really strong name, holding support, et cetera, that, it's just a really obvious long. And then through this, 138.50, is that it? 139, we'll call it. Looks amazing. I mean, this is one that, this is almost similar to my TRI, which was trade of the week, where it's just such powerful sideways consolidation that when it wants to finally break up, it's very strong and makes a pretty feisty move. So I'm definitely going to have my eye on this SNPS 139.
Nice. And then his next one was his B-Zone, BZUN.
Right. I've been watching this name the entire quarter, or last 2 quarters. Huge consolidation. This one has a huge move in it. I'm hoping they have great earnings. I don't think it's wise to trade this. They have earnings, I think, next week. So I think you just wait for the earnings report at this point. But I'm really hoping they have good earnings and they let this 46 be viable, because we saw Baba recently break out, or it's kind of starting to. We saw Momo, absolute ripper. JD was another one. So these Chinese names are starting to go. They're starting to become in favor again. So I'm going to wait for this BZUN to have earnings, but if they're good, I will love to buy that 45, 46 area.
Nice. Alex is one of the recent alpha guys. He's doing really good with his charting.
Earning is keep.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Brian Trung's looking at this CRSP.
Crispy. These therapeutic names, gene editing therapeutic names, absolutely wild fucking names. Like, just go crazy if you catch them right. So I wasn't sure if this had enough consolidation before this 52. I was highlighting it in the newsletter, but I love the inside day that I had today. So through 52, I think you could buy it. I think you have to give it to like 48. And I know $4 seems like a lot of risk in this name, but it's such a crazy name and breaking such a big level after an earnings move that I think you can count on the upside necessary with $4 risk. You get, your $15, $20 move in this name, and it's not like, asking too much because it's such a crazy move or high beta.
Now let's see. Gene Yao Mei is looking at this EA earnings base.
Yeah, 100. 100's the magical number on this one. It's got to break that area, but this name's been basing the entire year, literally the entire year. It's just been in a base. So once that can finally break up, it should be good. And right now it's leaving that 100 area was the last kind of pivot resistance. So I'm thinking that's the best entry for this one. Yeah.
That and that Activision, they both, I don't know what's going on with the video game sector, but both of them have been just basing this entire year.
Yeah.
Seems like there's something going on. And then his other name is this O'Reilly.
So this was like so heartbreaking on earnings. It opened up at 420, opened up too high for me to buy it. I kind of made the decision that day. It was like, hopefully if it pulls into 410, 412 area, I'll catch it on the pullback, but I don't want to buy 420 off the open, and I just completely missed it. So
Yeah.
now it's like, now I'm fucking so mad at it. But this earnings flag is coming together really well. I would like to see more sideways another week, but through 445, it's strong. It's showing the buying is still there. I can't really knock it and say it's not going to move higher if it breaks that area. So I think through 445 it moves higher. So I can't be mad at the trade.
Nice. Let's see. We got David Terrell looking at this Nike 91. Little support buyback.
If it can get through 91, then definitely. I love it turning that previous resistance to support. Like that is such an underrated setup, and so many people miss out on it. But it's a really easy trade. Like, actually, it's a great setup, and it reminds me. What's the name? It says APPN. So it's not on many people's radar, but if you look at that $40 level, like absolutely monstrous resistance level in the past, now it's looking to turn that into support. So I'm trying to buy that name on the retest through 43 or whatever. Very similar setup to this Nike, in theory, where it's like turning a huge previous resistance level to support. So through 91, I like that. I think it's ready. I think it's had enough time at that area.
Nice. All right, so we wrapped up all the member ideas for the week. If you want, I'll jump in a good trade, bad trade. I have two quick ones.
Okay, jump in.
So I'll start with the bad one. So we have this PFPT. So this is like a kind of a good lesson of kind of the good side and the bad side of being in a group chat. So I was long this. I was buying up through 118, and it was starting to look more like a short. And a lot of the guys want to short it down through 113. And I usually never let the group affect my trades. If they want to short it, I'm long. Doesn't matter to me. But in this case, I was like, you know what? Let me up this stop by $1 because everyone's looking to short it. I'm looking long. I'm probably wrong. So let me tighten up my risk. And I got ticked out like the day before. The day it held, like it held 114 to the penny. I got ticked out like 113.89. And I mean, again, this trade still has done nothing, hasn't broken up, but I locked in a loss where it didn't necessarily fail just yet. So that was just, again, there's good sides to the chat room. Also, there can be a little bit.
Let me jump in real quick. What's really funny about that is though, I talk about this too in my section of the good trade, bad trade, where it's like I got short on that 113.89, and the fact that it just swarmed up, came right back in my face. Like I was in that trade for literally like 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I acted quickly and decided once I saw it wasn't like a flurry of stops breaking support hard, I got out of the trade. And if you didn't talk to me that day, I bet you wouldn't have covered that.
No, wouldn't have been on my radar at all. I had
right.
That one was it 112.89. Wasn't even watching it, and I was like, everyone's talking about it in the morning. I'm like, okay, let me save the $1. But you lost money
so
short.
Good.
I lost money long, and it's like, what's going on? But that was again the bad one, but not the crazy. I mean, losing $2.50 on a $114 stock. It was nothing to really lose sleep over from a percentage standpoint.
I think it looks pretty good as a support buy at this area, to be honest. Sorry. I covered my short in 10 minutes when I saw the buying. It looks good. I mean, I have better setups that I'm more excited about, so I'm not going to trade it. But
I know.
I was saying, to torment you should buy it back.
Didn't want to buy and it's going to die.
Yeah.
And then the one good trade was this MTB. Again, the financial names finally started to wake up this past week or so. So we bought this 160, very easy buy stop, and just kind of ripped 4 days in a row. It ran into that 170, which if you zoom out, it's been kind of like a soft level of resistance, and we saw it kind of quickly reverse. So I got stopped out that little like doji day. Again, it's kind of just flagging out now, but it was just like a very easy swing, easy 4-day swing, catching 8 points in it. Can't really complain there. So that was an easy little swing to make up for that PFPT.
All right.
And then we can jump into top.
Let me jump into my good trade, bad trade real quick. All right, good trade, bad trade. Let's go over all the trades from the past week or so. So I'm going to start with the big winner is this NDAQ. Me and Carly B got paid for our patience in this one. So nice little trend line here. Working on a big macro pattern. But here's the trade here. This was earnings day right here. Kind of failed that. Shook out. So this got on my radar when I was initially looking at this through 100 on earnings day. Missed that trade, thankfully, because it didn't work out. So then it has this tight inside day. I bought through the high of that inside day, just a feeler against this 98 support. It does really nothing for a week, and it comes down. I think I'm going to get stopped out on this day, November 5th. It comes down to 97.90. I have a 97.89 stop. Sometimes you get blessed in this game. So then the next day, I saw a huge volume coming off of support in that 99 area, and I had a huge ad. And here's the funny thing, and here's the great part about being in a group setting with trading. Me and Carly B, we were sitting in this name all week, and it was like I was staring at it. It was giving me pain. I thought it was going to break out. It came back to support, all this BS. Higgins, after I call out, it's like time for the big ad on NDAQ. This was his first entry. This is the first time he bought the stock. And so he's just been, chilling with great stock. So me and Carly B, patience had to pay. Higgins got paid with the easy money. But just trading this one against support, moving the stop up to 100 here, sitting in this one. It looks really, really good going forward. I think if I wasn't in the stock, I would be saying I got to watch out for a flag by 105 because it's going after this big macro level a third time. So I'm really happy with the position I got on. This is my heaviest position. Pretty psyched on it. This TRI, this was the trade of the week this week. I just got in this one today. Had to buy it right off the open. I'm still giving this one down to this 66 support here. Give it a little red line for. So this is my stop here. So even if all right, so I didn't get absolutely massive size on this because it went right off the open, and I wanted to give it that $2. I wanted to give it the proper stop because it went literally 9:30 in like 8 seconds. You had to buy it. So if you're buying that with a low day stop, the probability is just not on your side, especially on a Monday morning. BAH, shouts out to the 15-minute rule. So I bought a feeler in this one last week. All right, here's the trade. This was their initial earnings day. We see the resistance level right here, like 72.50-ish. Breaks out similar to that NDAQ where it couldn't hold on to that move, but it created support at this little old resistance level. So I bought a feeler into here. So today it opens up, gaps down, and my stop was 71. But it opened up, and I gave it the 15-minute rule where we wait 15 minutes to see it put in a low if it gaps down on us. And it put in a low of 70.80. My stop would have been 70.89. I would have gotten pushed out right off the open. But because of the 15-minute rule, I was able to hang on, and now I have great stock. My stop moves to below this pivot now, 70.79. Let's move right on to Microsoft is the best. I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to add. I wish I did. Whoa, not a stop. Resistance. So we bought here earnings day, noticing the big macro pattern, gaps up. We sold some into this move, and now I just have great stock, and I'm holding on. I moved my stop up to this low. 142.49 ish. Yeah, 142.49. Give it the red line for the stop. Moving right along, this PPG. This has been the best trade so far this earnings season for me. Whoa. So we can see it's got this huge macro level, and when stocks break things on earnings, it's a huge catalyst. I was able to buy 120 with a stop below 119. Sold some. I sold some towards the end of last week. I really don't want to rush to move my stop up in this one because let's look at a weekly chart. Let me just moving averages. If we look at a weekly chart, this is such a massive pattern breaking. I don't want to be super, super cute with my stops. I sold what I needed to sell to book profit in the trade, and it looks really good going forward, but I don't want to move my stop up to below 128 just yet. My stop is still this 122.49 or whatever it is, this low. Yeah, 122.49. Because I want to. It takes time for these things, these huge patterns to work out. We can remember Lulu from last year. Lulu broke this huge level on earnings. See, finally sold our Lulu 20% gain when this shit is up 100% or 200% almost in that time. Lulu had this massive level at 80. See, we were talking about it then. At 82.83, it broke on earnings. And then, it created this ridiculous uptrend for the stock, breaking that huge level on earnings. So, I mean, these are the trades you want to stay in, however you can. Let me get some moving averages. Moving right along. Oh, here's a nice little loss I took last week. So I'll tell you the mistake I made in this trade. So it's ISRG. Here was the great buy. I bought a feeler here, giving it to this low. So now I'm sitting with good stock. And now when it looks to break out, the breakout buy, that I need to work this second, because let's look at, this is a weekly chart. We can see huge level overhead. Huge level right here, consolidating on earnings. Back to a daily chart. So I'm looking at this entry above this earnings high to be the entry for this 580, 590 macro break. So what I did last week, I bought on the breakout for this. So this was the right buy. This is the calculated buy right here, this one. I'm buying this against support. I don't need it to work this second. I can just chill and let the stock work out, knowing if it breaks support, I'm wrong. And then I have to get out of the trade. When I'm buying here for breakout, I need it to work that day. Now, the one thing we know about trading, the tighter your stop, the better your timing has to be. So for all this stock, so I sat with a small position here when ideally this is when I buy all my stock against this low, and I don't have to be so cute. So then I go for the add on this day, and as you can see, it just fails. And I lose money on now whatever I bought here. I got stopped out the next day. So I bought probably like 4 times as much stock as I bought down here. So now it becomes a losing trade for me when I had such great stock down here and I kind of ruined it with the ad. Now I was definitely going for it. I want a big position for this break and I'll be in it. You know, I'm looking maybe to add again against this 540 support tomorrow on the way up. We'll see how that plays out. But because I tried the breakout buy, my timing had to be so on point. That's why I lost money in that trade. So big mistake there. Have to recognize the difference. How much better of a probabilistic setup it is to buy against the support level rather than just through resistance where it has to work this second. Moving right along, Intel strong as bull, strong like bull. Just trying to stay in this one. I'm going to trail most of my stock here on the 8-day simple moving average. But again, I'm going to keep some wide because, you know, these earnings look like they're game changing just by the price action alone. TAL. I've been trading this one really well. We bought an earnings day, sold some into strength, rebought on the pivot, sold some into strength. And now here's the mistake I made last week, trailing too tightly. I was trailing some on this 8-day simple moving average, but when you're trailing on that, you're supposed to wait for a close below the level. So do you see how this low of 42.36 is just below all these lows, which is pretty much 42.40. So I gave up some stock here, and it was just the low of the day, pretty much. And so that's a really bad selling job on my part. I got to take it off into strength or keep it wide and not get shaken out for the big move. That happens, though. It's tough. This JBHT, I got stopped out of today. Once it broke this pivot to the downside, we entered here on the strength. Transporter strong, earnings flag. Entered that day, got literally stayed in this trade by a few cents as it pivoted right at 116. Sold some into strength 122, 120 area. And I got out today. This one still looks fine on a macro front. I maybe you could have made the case I could still keep my original stop, but I was pretty comfortable with the way I traded that one. SNBR sleep number. This was we're going to call this one the cock tease of the week. We bought this breakout, earnings breakout, so strong, such strong volume. I didn't sell anything. And usually I'm paying for the trade right away, same day. But the volume was so good, and this name looked like it was going to rip through new highs that I didn't want to sell any. I didn't take any off. So that was mistake number 1 for me. I have to trade all stocks and all setups the same way. If I'm going to pay for the trade in one trade, I have to do it in all trades. So not paying for the trade hurt me here because I completely gave the stock back. And I took a loss on it when I was up, enough to pay for it, which is greater than 3 to 1. I usually take off a third. PFPT, looking for revenge. Hilarious. I was getting ready to short this name last week. I did short it. I shorted it right through. So you see this 114 level. And if we don't look at the 2 days of putting a pivot, this thing looks like it's going to absolutely die. We traded up here. I took a big loss in it. So now it's setting up for a short, and I go to short it, and I'm wrong again. But what I did really well in this, so my style of shorting, I'm not looking for huge macro shorts like I am to the long side. If I'm shorting a stock, I want to short it at an inflection point so I see a reaction right away. We can look at this NDAQ trade where I sat in it for a week. It didn't do anything for a week, and I was comfortable just sitting in it. PFBT, I shorted this below this 114, and literally, it's tough to see. Oh, I guess you could see it pretty well. The moving averages mess it up, but I hit it through this 114 and just such strong buying that I covered it within like 6 minutes of being in the trade because it ripped back in my face. So for the shorts, when I'm shorting at inflection points, I need to see reactions right away. But long swing trading, I don't need to see it. I need to just stay in the trade and be told I'm completely wrong. I know theoretically that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I have a long bias and I make all my money swing trading to the long side. So I know my strengths. Market's in an uptrend, so that's where I'm going to focus. And now, here's the dumb fuck move of the week. So I talk about this Baba in last week's chart talk. I'm like, you can't keep it tight. You got to give it the proper room. All this shit. So then we see Momo absolutely break out of this little consolidation. We see JD absolutely break out of this consolidation. So we're thinking Momo, which has been a great consolidation, is next. So I believe it was this day. So I buy it this day, and what I do is I give 4/5 of my position to this cheap love day stop, and I give 1/5 to this 174 because I know that's the proper out. So then I get ticked out by literally cents. And Baba, I know, is not a name you can trade on a day trading time frame. You have to give that to true support. You can't really sneak in the name, because you're always going to get pushed out. I put this in the category with Facebook, where it's a high beta, but it's also really thick and moves a lot. So in my experience, you get your stops run a lot more often in those names. So by taking a loss and getting ticked out on 4/5 of my position, yes, I'm up in the trade. My price like 180, 180, 182-ish. And it's looking good. But now if I sell it at like 190, 192, it's like a break-even trade because I took a loss on 4/5. So if I could go back, I would have either done a half and half stop where I give half to that low and then half the proper room. But doing 4/5 didn't make any sense because now now the trade can work out well and I'm only going to break even. So that was my dumb fuck trade of the week. That fucking Baba. I hate day trading this name. I love the name, love the company. But just has my mark day trading. But really, it's just keeping it way too tight. So that's the majority of things I did this week. My plate is pretty full from a swing trading front. As you can see, I'm not looking to add a ton. So there are a ton of setups out there, and I'm trying to help guys as much as I can. But I'm not adding a ton of positions. You know, I have a lot of this NDAQ, a lot of this TRI, Booz Allen Hamilton, Microsoft. So I got these good swings going on. I don't want to ruin them by selling them too early and trying to get in new positions. So I'm trying to help out as many people as I can with all setups, but I'm not looking to add a ton right now. I'm just sitting in winners and slowly looking for more winners, but very comfortable with what I have on. All right, let's get back into the other stuff.
All right, so next we could jump into top ideas. I think the main one that hasn't been mentioned is this ADI.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So again, I've been in this ADI for a little bit, and I think the next kind of spot to add in is above this like 114. The one thing, at least for me in this trade and whoever takes with me, is like my initial goal is to just sell at that retest 124. Same with like me and Mo with American Express, we're not selling to 129. With this ADI, if I'm buying 114, I'm not selling to 124. So that's kind of my game plan with this ADI going forward. What about you?
ADI is I really like it too. It looks so great on a macro on a weekly time frame, and then the daily is just so tight and consolidated. This 114, 113, 114 area, just against 110.50 really. I have the same exact thesis as you. I want to hold it towards those highs. We're in that swing trading environment, so there's no reason not to. And then the other one I have is EXLS. Now, this is a very thin name. You know, I have to preface that. But, I mean, look at that daily. Look at that hourly chart since earnings. Like, so tight. Very easy $70 buy stop. Just stop below 68.50. That little hourly flag for the past, like, 7-8 days or whatever it is. I think that one looks really good on on multiple time frames as it's taking out that all-time high level. So those are the two that haven't been mentioned. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, and then the industrial sector is at all new, all new. Oh my God, new all-time highs.
All-time highs. Okay.
So, yeah, the sector working for you. Super tight flag.
Yeah, and it's just, even though we did see a shift back to, a little bit of the software names and stuff today, it's still been those industrial names, the energy names, the financial names. They're not as fun, but they're giving us such great swing trading moves. Just trying to stay in these swings has been the move these past 3 weeks.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think with that, we can jump into the book of the week.
Absolutely. You go first.
Yeah. Okay. So I got Man Searching for Meaning, and again, nothing really related to trading other than the fact, again, we've finally gone out of this rough cycle and it's getting a little bit easier. But again, people can still complain when trades don't work. I think when you do read this book, it's very humbling. It kind of brings you back to like realizing that it's just money, but definitely quick. It's like 80 pages, very easy read. Definitely recommend that one.
We've come a long way. If you're in a suit, Mr. Money Manager saying, "Oh, it's only money. It's only money. It's only money."
Yeah. If you're reading this book, I'm gonna be cracking up if it's the same book for this week.
No. Classic. 48 Laws of Power. Absolutely great lifetime book. It's kind of savage. There are a lot of parts that might be a little too harsh for life. Like it says, like never find a partner because that only creates a weakness. But what is it? Like Law 9 was my favorite. Like win through your actions, never through argument. Stuff like that. Like make your accomplishments seem effortless. So there's a lot of great laws, a lot of great life staples, things like that. And just an absolute classic. Robert Greene, 48 Laws. There it is.
Nice. All right, then we wrapped it up. Again, I never mentioned it. Dropping the thumbs up. If you guys are still here, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Good luck trading.